Okay, is everybody here? Are we good to go?
Yep, looks like it.
Okay.
Mr. Thomas, sounds like
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
Honor.
Okay. Mr. Thomas, what does Sabu look like? How would you describe him?
He's a little tall, fair, and curly hair.
When they visited you in, no, I think you said November 2018, where did they stay?
In a hotel.
And how long did they stay in Houston, if you know?
I don't know very clearly how long they stayed.
Was it more, would you know if it was more than one night or 2 nights or?
Not sure.
Do you know how they got to Houston? Did they drive, fly, or some whatever?
I think they flew and came.
And they being both Sabu and Sheena, correct?
Yes.
And Shaji. Okay.
And Stephanie.
Let's go to the exhibit 49, which was introduced yesterday. And while that's being shared, hey, can I ask you what's your email address?
You want my email address?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I was.
Wait, hold on. Is this something that he needs to share over YouTube, or can he type this in the chat?
If he can type it in the chat, that's fine.
Or can he provide it later off screen? Because if he has his phone positioned where he can answer,
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want him, Mr. Titus. You can give it to him once we're off of streaming. Okay.
And while we're doing that, your cell phone number, please.
You can also give that when we're off screen.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll give those when we're off streaming. Go ahead.
And just one last question: who's your cell phone service provider?
I don't want to say that. Why you are asking me that question?
I get to ask the question because I'd like an answer. You don't get to ask me who is your cell phone provider?
Objection relevant.
What is the relevance of his? He's not a party, Mr. Tannen. What's the relevance of his cell phone provider?
His cell phone provider is that Ms. Rubel was trying to introduce certain information on Exhibit 50 from a certain cell phone provider, and I want to verify if it matches up.
That's not accurate. This is messages on his phone between him and Mr. John. That has nothing to do with the cell phone records from Miss Sheena Mole that were presented with an authentication from AT&T. So I think he's confused about what the exhibit is.
Exhibit 50 is the exhibit that you attempted to introduce yesterday that claiming that it was Mr. Thomas's. And then Mr. Thomas said, no, I've never seen these before. So I just want to find out, because the cell phone provider is named there, who his cell phone provider is.
Okay, so my objection is relevant. Information that's not into evidence, the exhibit wasn't tendered.
Sustained. The exhibit wasn't tendered, and he's not a party. His cell phone provider doesn't matter. Okay.
All right. Well, then let's go to Exhibit 49.
Who's Exhibit 49? Don't forget, we have a brand new.
Sorry, Judge. F49, which is Ms. Rubel's Exhibit 49.
And once again, let's not forget to email Madam Court Reporter, our new court reporter, any exhibits that are admitted.
Okay.
All exhibits, Your Honor, or just the ones from today?
Yeah, the ones from today, they're admitted.
Okay. All right. Do we have that pulled up, Misty? Okay. Mr. Thomas, on page 3, which is production number 836. Do you, Misty, will you pull that up? Oh, I see. It's
And it is
formatted
up.
different. Yes. Okay. So let's coordinate where we're at. I need this part. Slow down. Okay, just give us 1 second, please.
Your Honor, I'm all for Mr. Tannen if he has a technical issue, a computer issue, getting time for that, but I would like the case to proceed, and I'm not okay with Mr. Tannen reviewing or preparing exhibits while we have a witness testifying for court. I do know that, he had the opportunity after yesterday's testimony to prepare for today, so I just want to be as efficient as we can so we can finish. And I don't know if he has any pending questions, ask the questions, otherwise maybe we move on.
Mr. Tannen, can you go ahead and ask questions while an exhibit's located? Because this is the last day. We are burning daylight. Mr. Tannen.
Sorry about that, Judge. We're going to forego the question on Exhibit 50. It was a confusion on our end.
You were on 49. Do you have a question?
Actually, Your Honor, I don't on that. I'm going to withdraw that line of questioning. And then, okay, Mr. Thomas, you were upset with Binu Monti for taking out that TPO against you, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay. And you really did want to get back at her for that, isn't that correct?
You mean get back to her in which way?
And strike out, get revenge.
Well, I was angry at her. I was not wanting to take revenge, but I had some issues with her.
Okay. So you mentioned now that you worked at the Leather Connection from 2018-2020, right?
Yes.
And would it surprise you to learn that Detective Half traced the emails to that location in Houston?
Objection, not in evidence. That is an incorrect testimony from Detective Half.
I believe it's correct testimony from Detective Half. He traced it to the Leather Connection in Houston, Your Honor.
No, the testimony was that he traced it to a business owned by a Mr. John Allen in Houston. The name of the business was not Letter Connection, and it was not at all identified as where Mr. Thomas worked.
He did not identify the name of the business.
Who owns the business that you work at now?
It is a real estate consulting firm.
Is it John Allen, the owner?
No.
Okay. You don't know a John Allen at all?
No.
Okay. And you're claiming that you prepared these emails and sent them to Jyotish John, which are on Exhibit 49. Is that right?
No, not right. I did not prepare the emails. What emails you're talking about?
The emails that Ms. Rubel introduced yesterday on Exhibit 49, did you prepare them? We can bring up Exhibit 49.
They're
Yeah,
text,
I mean,
Text messages,
those are
I'm sorry.
text messages.
Did you
Yeah.
prepare those text messages?
Yes.
Okay. Isn't it really more likely that Mr. John sent them to you and you copied and pasted them?
Objection. Asked and answered. Did you prepare them? Yes, I did.
he's answered that, Mr. Tannen.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any follow-up for Mr. Thomas?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Have a good day.
Judge,
Oh.
Your Honor.
If I may, Your Honor, I'm sorry, there is something that I would like to follow up. Mr. Thomas, is there anything else that you'd like to share with this court? Any concerns that you have regarding your testimony or presentation today?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
would like to ask the judge, Your Honor. Your Honor, can you hear me?
Yes,
Your Honor, I would very much love to see my cousin sister Binu Monsi and Jyotish John's marriage conducted very soon. So please help us to resolve these ongoing issues. And Sheena or Shaji or Steffi shouldn't interfere in Jyotish John's and Binu Monsi's marriage life. So please help us so that they can move on and live a happy married life.
No further questions.
all right, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Tannen?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you, Mr. Thomas. Stay healthy and safe. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Your Honor. God bless.
All right, so we have Father Thad Rudd, Shaji Philip, and Joseph Jaya Prakash, and we have somebody by the name of SM-T53NU.
I have no further witnesses at this time.
Oh, and we have Ann Joseph. I didn't say that.
Save Miss Sheena Mole Phillip if she doesn't testify under Mr. Tannen's presentation of the case.
Okay. Mr. Tannen, do you know who SM-530NU is?
I believe, I'm not certain, that that is Ms. George's attorney in India.
Okay, well, we decided earlier we're not letting him testify, so.
Mhm.
Who all these people get? Jaya Prakash, Ann Joseph, Father Thad Rudd, Jaya Prakash, Ribadran, and Shaji Philip.
Okay. Shaji Philip is Sheena's brother. Steffi Lawrence is a family friend acquaintance who is, we're calling him. Mary George is Mr. Phillips' mother.
These are the people in the waiting room. So who would you
Yes.
like to call?
I think first we would like to call, let's see.
I have Jaya Prakash, Ann Joseph. I have ADV, Jaya Prakash, Ann Joseph, Father Thad Rudd, Jaya Prakash, Ravidran, Shaji Philip, and then SM-T530NU. That's who's in the waiting room right now.
Okay, I think, I'm sorry, 1 second, Rudd. Okay, we're going to call Father Rudd now, please.
And I'm going to object because that's not an identified witness on the amended consolidated pretrial order.
Is he?
Unless I got my fathers mixed up, but let me.
You see
On the amended consolidated, he's number 6.
number 6.
Which father are you calling?
Well,
Thad Rudd.
Thad Rudd. Okay.
Yeah.
now Thad Rudd is gone. So,
I'm
all right,
sorry.
so we're down to ADB Jayaprakash, Ravindran, Shaji Philip, and SMP530NU. Pick one before they disappear.
Okay. We'll go with Shaji, Your Honor, behind door number 2.
Okay.
And
Exactly what it sounds like. Got it.
He has no audio. Good. Where's my fancy sign? Okay, everybody else can hear me. This is not for you. This is for him. All right, Mr. Phillip, do you mind unmuting yourself? Shaji Phillip, do you mind taking yourself off mute?
Mr. Phillip, we can't hear you, so you need to activate your microphone.
There you go, Mr. Phillip.
There we go.
It's coming in my screen. I need to unmute.
No, okay, yep, you're good. You've unmuted. All right, do you mind raising your right hand for me? All right, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this petition for modification and contempt is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, you sound really good right now, Mr. Phillips. So if you do me a favor, just keep your voice up. You can put your hand down, sir.
Thank you.
Keep your
Thank you.
voice up and make sure that the lady up at the top corner, her name is Margaret Kellycutt, with holding the thing up to her face there. She's my court reporter. Make sure you keep an eye on her, okay? Don't, if by chance, so when Mr. Tannen asks you a question, why don't you take a pause and wait, because Ms. Rubel, the other attorney, may object. All right, so when he asks you a question, just take a short pause, see if she objects, because if she objects, you need to wait to answer the question, okay? And then just answer the question, and then Ms. Rubel will have a chance to answer your question. When she asks you a question, excuse me, you have to answer with a yes or a no, and then you can explain your answer, okay? But when she asks you a question, the first thing out of your mouth needs to be yes or no, and then you can explain your question. And Mr. Tannen will go first. Go ahead, Mr. Tannen.
okay. Mr. Phillip, will you just state your name for the record again?
Shaji Philip.
Okay, and sir, what is your relationship to Sheena Mal Phillip?
My younger sister.
I'm sorry, your younger
My
sister.
younger sister.
Thank you. And what is your profession, sir?
I'm a chartered accountant from Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and I work as CFO for a private listed joint stock company.
Okay, hold on a second. Ooh, okay, so
Slowly.
with the utmost respect, yeah, you speak really fast, and I know I have a thick Southern accent, but your accent's really thick, so you have to speak a little, not
Sorry,
so fast.
sorry, Judge, I will do that.
That's okay.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, you're going to have to repeat that entire answer very slow, because I'm from the South as well. So thank you.
We even
Yeah.
hear slow. Go ahead.
Yeah.
By profession, I am a chartered accountant from Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and I work as Chief Financial Officer for a private listed joint stock company in Abu Dhabi. And I work for two more companies as a CFO,
The CFO.
Chief Financial Officer.
Have you ever been fired or lost your job for any reason?
No,
Have you ever been charged with any crimes?
never, ever.
And have you ever visited the United States?
Yes, I visited in United States 2 times. One for the mediation of Sheena Moore's divorce in 2016, June, and I visited in July 2018, and I left on August 2018, and it was for a family visit with my wife and 2 kids, and we visited some tourist locations, and we stayed with Sheena also.
Where did you travel in the United States?
It's little bit long. Can I detail
Okay.
that? I went because
Let's shortcut it. Did you ever visit Texas?
no,
Who did the booking for your hotels?
some I did, some Sheena did.
Okay. And did you ever have to change your hotel bookings?
Yeah, the first one I need to change. So
Okay.
there's some cancellation we did.
How long was your trip in 2018? How long were you in the US?
Yeah, it was in US only. I went up to Canada border, Buffalo, where I had to see the Niagara Falls through Washington, DC. And I visited New York. I visited Grand Canyon. Then I visited Los Angeles. I visited Miami. We visited Florida. So it was a complete trip, full pack trip by myself, my wife, and 2 kids.
Did Sheena travel with you to any these other places, Florida, Washington?
Nowhere.
Do you have an understanding as to why she didn't?
No, Sheena traveled with me when I was staying with her for 3 days. We went to Ruby Falls and we came back.
Okay. Do you know a person named Sabu or called Sabu?
No,
Have you ever met a person named Sabu?
no,
Do you know a Titus Thomas?
no,
Have you ever met a Titus Thomas?
no,
Have you ever communicated with Sabu or Titus Thomas using a video call or telephone?
never ever.
Do you know Mary George?
Jodish mother, I know.
Yeah. Do you know a person named Steffi Lawrence?
I know.
And how do you know Steffi Lawrence?
He's my friend's friend. One Mr. Tommy's friend. He's my friend. Steffi is one of my friend's friends.
So he's a
He
friend of
introduced
a
me.
friend.
Don't
Yeah.
talk over one another. He's a friend's friend, Mr. Tannen. Don't talk
Okay.
over him, please.
I'm sorry, Judge. I just couldn't hear. It kind of broke up a little. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Rubel,
Yes, Mr. Phillips.
Yes. How are you, Ruben?
I'm good. Have you transferred any money to Miss Phillips since 2016 through her financial account?
Which year? I didn't
From,
get you.
from 2016 to present.
Yeah, I transferred.
About how much money have you transferred to Miss Phillips since 2016?
Because in 2016, I don't remember I transferred it or not, but in 2000, when I traveled in 2018, she has incurred some expenses for me, and for which I just transferred in 2018 some money, around $4,600.
Okay. Did Miss
And further, I think I have transferred some more money because I was planning for a US and Canada trip during last year, January. And here in, if you use the credit card over there, we have huge charges there. Like, the conversion rate is something like a 10%, 15% less than our rate. So normally what I do is, and second thing is that I am not safe by using my credit card, because last time when I traveled, when I used for one or two places, the card got the number, someone took it, and I got charged for two amounts. Then I stopped using the card in US. So I transferred some money to her to keep it for me when I'm coming for January end, and which I couldn't do because of the COVID. Because we were planning to travel to Canada and the other side of US during January, February 2020, which I couldn't make it.
Okay. How much money was that you transferred to Miss Phillips?
That it was, I think it is somewhere around 7,100 or something like that.
Okay. Did Miss Phillips ever tell you why she withdrew $140,000 cash from her bank accounts in the United States in the summer of 2020?
I didn't get your question.
Did Miss Phillips ever tell you why she withdrew $140,000 in cash from her financial accounts in the summer of 2020?
In her divorce, I have made a lot of money payment to the attorneys for making payment before 2016. So there is a huge amount she owns to me, but she said she will either settle it with her property there in India. She has a Bangalore property, or when she gets the money, she will pay to me. It is that. Other than that, I won't directly ask her money on that, because to me, for her to survive, it is very difficult. It is like a movie. If someone is chasing her after divorce, so she has to survive. So I always keep, like, anytime she needs any kind of help or anything, I always call her. So in this case, I don't remember she has said to me like that.
Mr. Phillip, I don't know if I heard an answer. Do you know why she withdrew that much money from her account? Yes or no?
I don't know.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you. Did she ever tell you where she put the money?
She said me that she said me that she is taking some check for me for making a payment for the loan and all.
Stop, Mr. Phillip. The
Yes.
first thing out of your mouth needs to be yes or no. Listen to her.
Sorry, Judge. I will answer it again.
Okay.
Can you repeat the question again? I didn't get you.
Absolutely. Did Miss Phillips ever tell you where she put $140,000 cash in the summer of 2020?
No.
Okay.
But she said that she will pay if she can, she will pay, or she may use his property. I'm explaining.
Are you explaining the $120,000?
No, Judge, she was asking some question which is.
Okay, she's asking questions about $120,000 that she withdrew from the account. That's all I want to know about.
Okay, that I answered. Thank you.
Sure.
Have you ever had a meeting with Titus Thomas outside of the United States?
I don't know these individuals at all. No, I don't have any meeting with them, and I don't know these individuals.
Do you know Abinu Masi?
I don't know. Till this story is created now in the court.
Okay. Mr. Phillips, how do you have any information about what story has been created in court today?
Because it is my name in lot of affidavit Sheena has shown to me that my name has been put with all wrong allegations. It's a maliciously fabricated, cooked up story directed from by some criminal intention by some criminal people. That's what I understand. If this kind of allegation comes here against me in UAE, that person will be in jail. Because you cannot allegate a person without any evidence, without any knowledge, because he has given in paper in my name that I have been arrested in Dubai. And I am working as a CFO of a private joint stock company for 12 years over here. I'm working here, and another 8 years I'm working as finance manager. If someone allegates and a reputation of mine and my sister being...
Settle down. You have to talk slower. I understand you're upset, but you have to talk
No,
slower.
because Your Honor, my sister's modesty is affected by these crooked people making stories.
Okay, Mr. Phillip, you still have to speak slower.
Mr. Phillip, are you finished with that answer?
Yes.
Okay. You've had communications with Ms. Sheena Phillip about the testimony and what's been presented in court from yesterday and the other day's trial, isn't that correct?
No.
So it's your testimony that you haven't been observing or otherwise communicating with Ms. Phillip on the proceedings that have occurred to date?
No, that means the link I have got it yesterday, the same link I have to join.
Mr. Phillip, you've been observing this trial through YouTube, isn't that correct?
No.
Help me understand why your answer was that you don't know who Binu Monsi is and what has been presented to this court, but you're also telling me that you haven't observed or otherwise communicated with Ms. Phillip about what's occurred in front of this court.
Can I explain my answer?
Yeah, I'm asking you to explain. And
Yeah,
one part you
I will
said
explain.
that you haven't
I will explain my answer, Charlotte.
Explain it.
Charlotte, sorry.
Speak slowly.
Charlotte asked me a question. Do you know Binu Monsi, Titus, all these characters? I don't know them anywhere here other than when I see in the court in this picture. That's all I am saying. So you don't have, it is what you are asking me is that, do you know these people? I never know them. Only in the court, in this paperwork, in this picture, I know that these are the people.
Okay.
When we
So
joined initially, their name was there.
Okay, so you know you came to understand who Binu Monsi was and what her claims were, and who Titus Thomas was and what his claims were through these proceedings, this court proceeding and Zoom. Is that accurate?
Yeah, because Sheena has always explained to me what she has been going through on her life. Because Jyotish is sending continuous mails to her, and she's explaining me what it is. Because I am the only person to support her, right? You people have to
slow down. Just slow down talking, Mr. Phillip. Go ahead.
And there is one person chasing her like a movie enough, like he is chasing her not to leave alone with 2 kids, and she is some or the other surviving. She is making cooked up stories with some characters and making her.
Slow down, Mr. Phillip. I know you're upset, but you still have to slow down.
Yeah, against my sister, a software engineer may or someone else may be cooking up stories which is totally baseless and putting my name, my 84-year father's name, my wife Dr. Priya's name. He may not be knowing my kid's name. Otherwise, that also should have been included in scandal.
I'm going to move at this time, Your Honor, to exclude the testimony of Mr. Shaji Phillip for testifying that he's had understanding of the proceedings that have been presented to the court in violation of the rule of sequestration.
Mr. Tannen?
Judge, both of the witnesses are in the waiting room with him today. In addition, Judge, I believe that Mr. Phillip testified that his sister, Ms. Phillip, was discussing well before this time the email she was receiving well before the proceedings from Mr. John and naming these names. So the fact that he would know these names is not surprising at all. Moreover, he's only testified that he's been in the waiting room on this and he's not been watching this on Zoom.
If I may respond, Your Honor, those in the waiting room can't see who else is in the waiting room, and that was not his testimony. He said that he had observed them, pictures of them in their testimony and what had occurred. He also testified that Ms. Sheena Phillip has been telling him what's been occurring and kept him informed throughout the entire time.
I believe she kept him informed. The testimony was that he kept him informed. And again, we can go back and question on it, that he was keeping her informed as the events were occurring, meaning as the emails were being sent and received by Ms. Phillip, not during the course of these proceedings, Your Honor. Anything
No.
else? I'm sorry, ma'am.
I'm going to strike his testimony because he said as they've been happening in court. He says he's been paying attention as they've been happening in court and he's been hearing in court. I'm going to strike his testimony. Thank you, Mr. Phillip. You can be excused.
And I would
Thank you.
ask that Mr. Phillip not have any other communications with any other witnesses that are going to potentially testify, or because I'm going to ask every other single witness that's in this group.
I don't know this.
Mr. Phillip, thank you. I'm removing you from the
Thank
meeting.
you. Thank
Do
you.
not talk to anyone else.
Thank you.
Ms. Phillip, I'm warning you. I'm warning you once, and this is it. Any more communication with any of your other potential witnesses. So if you want to pick up your phone right now and text anyone else that's going to be your witness and tell them, and the only reason this is on Zoom is because my courtroom is closed. If they're watching it, they had better shut it down right now, because I will strike every single witness that testifies on your behalf if they continue to say they've been watching the court proceedings. Do you understand me? Unmute yourself and give me a verbal yes if you understand me.
I understand, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mute yourself.
I don't tell anybody to watch.
That's all I wanted to know. All right, Mr. Tannen, who's your next witness? Now I have, Father Thad Rudd is here. You want him in here now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Y'all know who this is? Tannen?
Guessing that's it's Father Rudd. Can you answer it?
This is who? Who is this?
This looks like Steffi Lawrence, I believe. It's connecting with audio.
He's connecting. So I will call.
Mr. Tannen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
All right, I've got that, and I've got ADV Jayaprakash. So that's your choice. Who do you want to call?
I'm sorry. Let's go with Steffi, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, can you unmute yourself?
Hello,
All right.
can you hear me?
I think, yes. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you
Yes, Your
swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this petition for contempt modification is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, you can put your hand down. So respectfully, you have a thick accent, probably as thick as mine.
Yes,
I'm from the South, and you know, Miss Kellycutt's from the South. We speak slow, we hear slow, okay? So like the gentleman before, if you get excited, your accent gets a little thicker, probably like mine. So just make sure you speak loudly. And if you get excited because maybe you get mad or something like that, and I do like this, just please make sure that you slow down talking, okay?
Yes,
Mr. Tannen's going to ask you some questions, and then Miss Rubel's going to ask you some questions. When Miss Rubel asks you a question, the first thing that needs to come out of your mouth when Miss Rubel asks you a question is either a yes or a no.
Yes, ma'am.
Once you answer yes or no, then you can explain that answer, a yes or a no. And
Yes,
if
ma'am.
Mr. Tannen asks you a question or Miss Rubel and you don't understand the question, just say, I don't understand your question. They can rephrase it.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and the one hint in between is if Mr. Tannen asks you a question, if you just pause, because Miss Rubel may want to object. Or when Miss Rubel asks you a question, you may want to take a pause because Mr. Tannen may want to object. And this will keep all of us from speaking over one another, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Tannen.
Thank you. Sir, how do you know Sheena Mal Phillip?
Through Shaji, a friend of classmate, a long time, introduced Shaji and Shaji contacted me for a divorce case,
Okay.
and that's what
And
it started.
so what year was that, sir?
I believe it is in 2015. 15,
And by the way, oh, I'm sorry.
2015 or 2016, early part of 2016.
By the way, sir, where do you live?
I live in California, Sacramento.
And have you lived there from 2015 to present? Is that right?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Do you know Jyotish John?
No, only through phone conversation.
I'm sorry, sir. Will you repeat that for me?
No, I don't know him personally, only through phone conversation for a mediation.
Do you know a Binu Mansi?
No, I don't know Binu Monsi. She tried to reach me. She accused me certain things. So I tried to protect my family.
Let's go back to that. How did you learn that Binu Mansi was accusing you of certain things?
She called here a couple times to my phone. So I called back. I didn't know the number. I'm a business person. So if I see a missed call, I call back. And then she reached through WhatsApp and accused me, saying that I am marrying Sheena Phillip. I am having an affair with Sheena Phillip. And I told her clearly, I have 4 children, living in California longest time. I never ever met Sheena, nor seen her, other than the divorce case I'm helping. I understand now why you are acting like this, because you probably got this phone number through Jyotish, because I tried to mediate with Jyotish, and Jyotish was upset because I didn't agree to his terms and conditions. So accusation was big.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. When did Binu Mansi reach out to you?
About first part of 2019.
And what is your profession?
I'm a building engineer, worked for the state of Illinois 11 years. Then I'm a realtor and an investor. I buy foreclosure homes, fix it and sell it. I'm also into mining business, mining.
A couple of questions that I need to ask. Have you been following this trial on YouTube?
No, sir, I don't know anything about it.
Okay. Have you been communicating with Ms. Phillip by text, email, WhatsApp regarding this trial?
No, sir, I haven't. She didn't reach me at all. Only thing I know is trial is coming. I may be a part of witness. So that's all I know.
Have you ever met
Can you repeat that?
someone called Sabu?
No, sir, never.
I saw you froze.
I never ever met a person named Sabu.
Have you?
Sabu Kochubarikan.
How did you know the last name, sir?
There was an email and accusation came to me through Binu Monsi that I am doing harm to her, that I am friend with, later she said I am friend with Sabu.
I'm going to object. The best evidence for this witness's testimony is the document itself. I'm going to object to him testifying as to the contents of any email unless he can tender any of these emails to the court, because they're not before the court, and that is the best evidence.
What is the best evidence? What is it? I don't know.
This is for the lawyer. Mr. Tanner, are you planning on tendering the email?
No, I just, no, Your Honor. I'll rephrase the question then. So you learned, is it, did you learn Mr. Sabu, did you come to an understanding of Mr. Sabu's name prior to this trial being instituted?
Way back, Billy Monsi told me about that me.
Just yes or no, sir. Yes or no first.
Oh, yes. Can I explain?
Not if you're going to go in, sir, not if you're going to go into the details of an email.
Okay,
So.
way back, I don't know anything about the email. Through the WhatsApp, she's the one contacted me, Binu Monsi.
Okay. And I meant to say WhatsApp. I'm sorry, I get those terms confused. Have you ever met with Titus Thomas?
No, sir, never. I don't know
You
this
know-
person. I don't know this person. And since 1987, I've never been to what do you call Texas, even though Binu Monsi said that I did something to her business in Texas.
One second, please. You know a Shaji Philip?
Personally, I never met him. Yes, through phone conversation. Yes, through phone conversation.
Okay. And how did you come to speak with Mr. Philip?
You mean Shaji Philip? He asked me
Yeah.
for help to support his sister in Atlanta. And I actually offered him that I can talk to a couple lawyers, or I can Google and find some lawyers regarding the divorce situation. That's what it started.
And that was in 2015, 2016, right?
That is correct, sir.
Have you kept in touch with him?
Yes,
And how often do you all communicate?
very rarely.
Do you call the last time you communicated?
Been a while, I cannot recall exact date.
Okay. And do you recall the last time, if ever, that you met him in person?
Never ever met him in person. No, sir, I never met him.
Sir, could you repeat the last part you said?
No, never ever met Shaji Philip.
Did you see Mr. John's responses? I'm sorry. Did you happen to see Mr. John's interrogatory responses?
What is it? I don't know what you're talking about. No.
Let me put it another way, which may be a little bit more understandable. One second, please. Have you ever tried to hurt Mr. John, Mr. Jyotish John, or Ms. Monsi?
Never, ever, no, never.
And have you ever tried to cast spells or do anything negative towards them?
No, sir. I'm not a magician or
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Ross?
Yes. Mr. Lawrence,
Good afternoon.
do you recall speaking with Detective Haff regarding his investigation?
Yes,
Do you recall telling Detective Haff that you had been contacting Binu Monsi and threatening her?
no, protecting my family is different than threatening her. I will protect. It doesn't matter who it is. Nobody can come and accuse me things that I never, ever, especially an affair. I got 4 kids, a mentally challenged kid also, federally disabled. So I have my own things in full responsibility. I am running my family in California. Like I said, I never been to Texas since 1987, never been to Atlanta since 2003. I don't know who is Monsi. I don't know who is Anne. I don't know who is John. All I know is communicated with John few times regarding the divorce, tried to mediate. And he suggested one time, that's the reason we got into an argument or disagreement, saying that he wanted to check the DNA of the kids, whether to prove whether he is the dad or not. I said, I'm not going to mediate. That's very, very bad to the children. So this is it.
Okay, I'm going to break that down because that was a very lengthy answer.
Yep.
You said that you don't know who Binu Monsi is. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And you do not know who?
Only through WhatsApp. So I don't know.
Okay. You have contacted Binu Monsi, also known as Ann Joseph, through WhatsApp, correct?
That is correct.
You have left her voicemails screaming and cussing and calling her insulting things. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And Detective Haff contacted you after he'd received that information and asked you to stop contacting Binu Monsi, correct?
I offered him,
Look,
as long as I offered him.
Mr. Lawrence, you need to
Yes.
answer yes or no, and then you
Yes.
explain your answer.
Explain me one more time the question.
Absolutely. Detective Haff asked you to stop contacting Binu Monsi in a harassing and threatening manner, and you agreed to do that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you stopped then threatening and harassing her, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what I've marked as F41. Actually, we need to do this without
streaming.
being live on YouTube.